Welcome to the Right Now Show. My name is Zach Day, and on the show we have real, deep, and unfiltered conversations.
When I thought I was gonna die, I thought of one thing, bro. Not the things I did do, but the things I didn't do.
If you love yourself enough, then you're gonna call yourself out.
Don't ever let the false sense of fear interfere with your life.
The purpose of this show is to help you gain perspective on life, to help you become more intelligent, and to inspire all the people out there that are complacent with their life right now to get up and actually go for your real dream. All right, cool. We got Matthew Zitsos on the show. He's a content creator, athlete. You do jujitsu. You're a storyteller, and you're an inspiration.
Trying to be an adventure. If you want to throw adventure in there, that's the next step.
I love it.
Yeah.
What's with like adventure?
So trying to I'm pretty well traveled, but just trying to capture more of it. I would say is a goal in the next year.
Yeah.
And I get to do some like cool stuff, and for whatever reason, I've just never cared about capturing it. But
nice.
in the next year and the years to come, I think that is where I would like my content to kind of evolve to.
Yeah. I mean, your social media page is like kind of off the charts, like your content and everything. I mean, it definitely does look really adventurous.
Like I said, I get to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to do even more cool stuff, and I'd like to like capture and share more of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like because of like your height, you actually have some advantages
in life?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's advantages, disadvantages. One is just like as it relates to sport and like growing up wrestling, like you had to work extra hard. You had to just like, there was like a grind that was inherent to me just being like mediocre. And I think that grind, a lot of people can like walk into something and just have a base level of like, oh yeah, you'll be decent. Yeah. And like, I'm not like not athletic, but at the same time, like I had to work extra hard. Yeah. And I would say that's a huge advantage. And then like also just like the conversation starter. I'm wearing like a Liverpool hat right now.
Yeah.
I don't care about Liverpool. I don't like I'm not like a Liverpool fan, but people are just like looking to talk to me about something. If I was just like in plain clothes and didn't have anything, like this is almost like a cheat code there, and that I can walk into a place, someone's going to ask about a Liverpool something, and I can say, oh, I don't care, but then I'm like talking to somebody. Yeah. So it's an automatic conversation starter.
How about in like content creation, acting, business? Do you feel like you kind of have like an advantage because, I mean, you just stick out so much?
Yeah.
Like,
I think in content for sure. Yeah. I'm decent at jujitsu, and I've like done it for a while. Yeah. I'm not like good enough to like have that be my standalone. I think it's definitely because I have dwarfism. Yeah. And because I stand out, and like I like to fancy myself a good looking dude. Yeah. And I think that probably plays a part in it too. And I have like obvious charisma and stuff. But like I said, none of those I think especially on social media stand alone. In my personal life, I think all those things stand alone, and like my friends aren't friends with me because I have dwarfism. My friends are friends with me because they genuinely love me, and I offer something special to them.
I love that, bro.
Yeah.
What are some like common misconceptions people have? Is dwarf the right word, or is that like
so like
wrong word?
Like I mean, I think like once you get to know me, like there's not like a word that like is
like you're a person just like anybody else. You're
but like dwarfism, it like, so there are like a bunch of different types of dwarfism. Yeah. I forget exactly how many, but there's like hundreds. And then achondroplasia is the most common. And so that's what I have. That's what most people with dwarfism have is achondroplasia. Right. Yeah. But there's there's like dwarf, little person. Right. Like midget is obviously a word that is used. Right. It's just kind of a nasty word. Like growing up, you hear it and it's just like, ugh, it's kind of icky. Yeah. I guess that's all just like how, like people can say whatever word. It's how you use the word. I don't really care about the word itself.
So you literally don't care. Like there's nothing that really like offends you.
There's nothing that offends me. Whenever I do hear like midget, I do think like there's a little kid and he's probably like trying to figure out how to like navigate the world, and like just hearing like kind of like a word that's often used as like a joke and like with a general negative connotation, like how that makes him feel. As a kid, I just had so much love and support around me that it never really affected me that much. Like, once again, I didn't like it, but I grew up going to like AAU wrestling tournaments and the middle of nowhere, rural North Carolina. So that word was thrown around plenty, and I was pretty desensitized to it eventually. And like, you're in there scrapping with kids. So it's like, if there's a place to use it, that's probably it.
Now, like when you were growing up, how did you respond to people that would like bully you per se? Like, did you like have to like stand up to them?
Yeah.
Or did you kind of have to just take it on your chest? Or
no, it kind of made me a bully. I would start like lashing out first. Before anybody else could. And so I became a bully pretty quickly. Not proud of it. Sorry to anybody. I'd like to take this moment to say sorry to anybody that I bullied. But yeah, I just kind of became a bully.
That makes sense.
And especially in wrestling, like there was like a place to do that, you know?
Right.
And yeah, so that's how I coped with it. As an adult, I've like fixed that myself.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, like when you, when was the first time you realized that you were a dwarf? Like when you're growing up, like what age were you like, I'm different than everybody else?
Yeah, it was like, there's not like a standalone moment for me. I wish there was. It would be better for like this podcast. But there's really just like not a standalone moment. It's just, it was always a part of my life.
Yeah.
You know, like kindergarten, I think like would be like the first time I went to school and was like away from my family. And so I guess that probably like there was probably a moment where it was obvious.
Right.
But thinking back, there's not like one specific moment.
Because it was just always, it just was how it was.
Was how it was.
How was like your childhood? Was it hard to get used to this, or was it just like anybody else kind of thing? Just like anybody else kind of thing. There were like little incidents here and there. Sure. And like, but there were no major medical issues, which I think is huge. I had like leg straightening surgery. So if you notice, a lot of people with achondroplasia have bowed legs. Okay. Like severely bowed legs. So it's very common to get a leg straightening where they break like the major bone in the leg. I guess like the tibia. Right. But then they form it in a way that's just like straight. Okay. And so I had 2 casts on my legs. And all that, for how really long? For like like Christmas of like when I was like 5. Okay. So like the Christmas holiday of like, when I was 5 years old. Yeah. And all it really did was like make a really cute shepherd in the Christmas pageant. Like I was just a freaking adorable shepherd. Okay. And that was the only real like change it ever created. Sure. Yeah. So it didn't do much. Who were like your biggest supporters when you were growing up? Parents. Yeah. Brother, sister, family. Yeah. So they were just huge for you. Huge. Yeah. Yeah. Huge. And like my whole community. I grew up in the Greek community in Charlotte. And I mean, so supportive and just kind and making me feel like nothing was different ever. I love that. Yeah. I guess I was actually talking to the gentleman over here, and he was like, basically he had like 3 fathers growing up, and his first dad like completely left him totally out of his life. He's like, I still, to this day, I still have like daddy issues. And like, I think we all have like those things, like trauma kind of things that happen early on in life. For you, like, did you ever feel like you were like a victim? Like, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? You know, I think if there was, it was probably high school. Yeah. And it probably had something to do with girls. Like what, like this is like everybody's like going to like, we had something called Middle School Madness. Yeah. Which was just like a club at the YMCA. Okay. And it was for middle schoolers, of course. Sure. And I remember going there and just being like, all my friends were like going and dancing with girls. And then I was just like resorted to just like watching kind of. Yeah. That's tough, and I think that would be like the most like traumatic. And if it affects my relationship with like women now,
I can't say for sure, you know, but I would have to assume like there's some bit of that like it is affecting.
Yeah. What is the dating scene like to you? Like, are you trying to date people that are, you know, regular size, or are you trying to date people?
I think it would be pretty shallow of me to like, I'm like open to anybody and everybody. I think it would be shallow for me to just say like, no, I'm not going to date anyone with dwarfism. However, like everybody has like their like personal preference and who they're with. I don't have like a specific person that I'm trying to date or be with, but like, I've never dated someone with dwarfism. I'll just say that.
Okay. So you're basically open to both. It's more about personality.
Yeah. That's personality.
Awesome. Yeah.
And like hobbies.
Sure.
Like whether they are like focused on the same things I'm focused on. And like if they are like determined to like stay physically fit as we get older, like that's important because I know that that's a death sentence for me. Yeah. Of like, if I like get out of shape, I'm upstream without a paddle or whatever that saying is. Like I'm out of luck.
If you like go to like a club or something like that, do girls actually tend to like draw near you?
I can't say I go clubbing that much anymore. I would say like I've noticed it sometimes, but it's not always in like the most like romantic way. You know, it's always kind of just like there's a like Stigma that just walked in and like let's go like dance close to him, but like it's not. I wouldn't say it's like an obvious thing. Also, like I said, I don't go clubbing that much.
That's true. Yeah.
But if like I'm at a cocktail bar or at a concert or something, I mean, I go out. It's just like
that makes sense.
Specifically, especially growing up in the Southeast. Yeah. Because I'm sure like rural Pennsylvania, like if you were at a club. Yeah. Like unless you're in like Miami and like at 11 or something. But yeah.
Exactly. Does it bother you that people look at you differently, whether you go to the grocery store, a restaurant, whatever, and like maybe like there's like kids like laughing over here? Does that like bother you? Does that get to you anymore?
Only time it still bothers me is when it's an adult that like should know better.
Yeah, just a total immature
just
adult.
Like what are you here for? Like what's in this for you? And like it doesn't bother me to the point like I would say like after college I was kind of like a bitter person. I think that bully syndrome like kind of like had manifested into something that was just a little bit like bitter and like, did you just say something to me? Like, and then like I also do have this support system in my friends and my family that like would do anything for me. And I almost felt like there was a specific moment that I felt like I was abusing that a little bit and saying like, okay, these people fight for me. Let's go get in a fight. Yeah. You know, let's go rough these guys up. Yeah. Even if it was something little. And like in hindsight, it's such a like just kind of pointless little machismo thing. Yeah. Like there's no reason I should have been bringing my friends into a fight other than like that's what young college age guys do.
I mean, it's understandable, but it's awesome that you're like aware of that now. Yeah. At what point did you like stop becoming a bully for yourself? Like at what moment did you realize that like, hey, like I got to let go of like this stigma?
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast house. We're located in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're a full production podcast studio. Show up, talk, and we'll take care of everything from the production to the editing, and we'll deliver your podcast within days.
I'd say the impact that this place is making is we are setting the standard of what a recording studio and a production company should be like.
Anybody can have a voice if you have a microphone in front of you. All you have to do is show up, look pretty, talk.
We can take all the stress and headache out of podcasting.
We're here to really make the best production possible and really make our clients feel comfortable so that they can be the best versions of themselves.
It's just a very warm setting. You feel at home here because it is home.
We have 2 studios. We have one that is fully soundproofed, more of a Joe Rogan setup. And then we have a living room space where it's more of a relaxed setup. It's more open.
Either I am who I say I am or I am not. I believe I can hang with the best guys in the world. So throw me into the shark-infested waters of the UFC.
So yeah, we've got athletes, musicians, celebrities, everyday people that already have a platform, people that don't even know where to start.
The mission of the podcast house is to make podcasting easy, stress-free, and to make sure that your voice is heard and your impact is made.
A very specific moment. I was on a rooftop. I'd just gone out, and I was on a rooftop in Denver, Colorado. And we just went to a party with like people we didn't know. I had like probably like too much to drink, but not like crazy.
Right.
And one of my best friends just kind of said like, why'd you do that tonight? Like, why'd you act like that towards those people? And I was just like being a bully. Like I smelled blood. I like was kind of being a jerk.
Yeah.
And he's like, why did you do that? We were sitting out looking over Denver, and I just kind of like stopped and had this moment where I really asked myself why I did that, and I didn't have a good answer, and kind of like promised myself to be more conscious of it and be aware of it and just like not do it anymore. And after that, I found it really easy. You know, I found it easy to just be nicer, more empathetic, and like just drop that whole act, because that's what it was. It was an act. You know, it was an act. I was compensating for something.
Right.
And whether I wanted to acknowledge it or not, I was.
Yeah. It's awesome how you have friends that can still call you out on that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like those moments are the best when you have those big realizations about life, especially you're just on a rooftop, like looking out in the city, and then boom, like it's just like, dang, I got to change this.
Yeah. I was
huge.
telling you before we sat down.
Yeah.
You got to team up with me because I got two hyenas here, but they honestly, like, I do think that's so important for everybody to have friends that hold you accountable
100%
to your like truest self.
Yeah.
And because like a good friend knows you almost better than you know yourself, you know, and that's like the sign of a great friend, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of friends that will tell you what you want to hear, but you need friends to tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah. And, yeah.
That's huge, bro.
Yeah.
Did you play any other sports besides like wrestling growing up?
No, I wish I had. I wish I had played like lacrosse. I tried to start a lacrosse team at my school.
Oh,
I had this great pitch.
Yeah.
It was like I had like jerseys. I had like a bunch of guys that were ready to do it, and I took it to like the athletic director, and we like did this pitch and presentation, and they just scrapped it and then started program 2 years later.
Dang.
They took all my great ideas.
That's crazy.
But no, I just wrestled year round. I think for like a serious athlete, it's important to like take a break from the sport that you're most committed to, and like, but you have to stay in shape. I think just doing nothing isn't good.
Yeah.
But having like another sport that's like helping with hand-eye coordination, helping with conditioning, keeping you in shape, but isn't just like wearing you out. Because by the end of high school, I had been wrestling for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And I was burnt out. Like when it came to like going to college and the idea of having to wrestle in college, that was like daunting. I just like didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point, man, because I used to do I don't know if you know the TV show American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to do that, and I did it for 8 years, and then I think like 19 or 20, I started coaching. So I was just literally like totally immersed in, like, my work was in it. I was training, and it just got to be so overwhelming to where like it turned into like work, and wasn't so much like a passion anymore. So like when you said like it's really good to like take a break, take like an off season from something, so you stay hungry, you stay driven and motivated. So that's a really good point, bro.
Yeah, it. I when I came back and like started doing jujitsu, it was really nice being away from wrestling for so long. And now I coach some in my old high school, like once a week. Yeah, is all I can really commit to. But that's been nice too, of like getting it back in the sport and having like a relationship with it. It's just a different relationship.
Yeah, how do you start jiu-jitsu? Like what made you want to start that?
So I was just like kind of chunky coming out of college.
Sure.
I'd gained probably like 10 or 15 pounds, which for me is like a decent bit, and it was like unhealthy weight. So I like got in enough shape that I could like go and compete. And then I just like wanted to do something else. Yeah. Had seen it. A buddy of mine who wrestled with my brother in college, he had just started going to a place in Charlotte, and I just like stopped in and then just kept doing it ever since.
That's awesome, bro. Now, do you like weight lift, like do cardio at the gym? Like,
yeah. So I do like just basic circuit weight training, and then I just started climbing, which is like a nice accessory workout.
That's cool.
So after
like rock climbing?
Yeah. Nice. So like after I go do jujitsu or after like a circuit class, I'll just go climb because it just like engages the muscle groups that I was working out before.
Yeah.
In a kind of like fun and like carefree way.
Yeah, grip strength is so important too, because that's where like it all starts. Like when you're lifting a weight, like it starts with your grip strength.
And I've noticed since I've done it, like how much my grip strength has improved.
Yeah. Oh, drastically. Now, are you able to build muscle easier because you're more like condensed?
You know, I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you're dressed really modestly today, but like on your Instagram, like you're like I'm like, dang, bro.
Yeah, I find it easy. Like someone pointed out the other day, like you eat a ton of sugar, and I don't think I eat that much sugar.
Sure.
But like I'm not like super conscious of my diet or of my like weight. I think that's a lot easier when you're working out as intensely as I have been working out.
Right.
Like I was injured a couple weeks ago, and so I wasn't working out as hard and as often, and like I had to like watch what I was eating more at that point.
Right.
But also just like it's pretty easy to eat. Like I think like you don't have to be as strict with it. I think if you're eating whole foods for the most part, you're good.
Yeah.
Drinking water, eating whole foods, nothing to suit, like just cut out the middle of the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
You're good.
Yeah. Calorie intake, like would you say it's a little less than a normal person?
No, I would say it's probably more.
A little more. Yeah. Interesting.
Just once again, depending on how much I'm exercising.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not less than average size person. Yeah.
I heard you were in a band.
Yeah.
Like a singer in a band.
Yeah.
How did that come to be? And like, when was that? Was that like high school, college, or
college?
Like, okay.
Yeah. College band. Me and so like one of my best friends, he was in a band, and he kind of like drove the music for our like whole friend group.
Okay.
And so he would, like, if we were just like hanging out, he would be on the piano. He would like really encourage everyone to like be more musical. And even if it was like awkward, which it often was, like he would just kind of like push everybody to be more creative and more musical when we were like with each other. And it really made it like a nice dynamic for our friend group as well. But I got some pipes on me, you know?
Yeah.
And that became obvious. Good stage presence.
Yeah.
And liked having fun. And so, yeah, it made it easy. And I really wasn't very good at public speaking until I was in a band.
Oh, that'll help.
And that helped a ton. It was pretty wild. It was like overnight, I was just significantly better.
What kind of music?
So we did like a lot of Southern rock, a lot of Freebird.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of just like Southern rock. Yeah.
You still do it to this day?
No, not as much as I think.
Would you say it's like a talent or kind of just like more of like a passion?
So I would say it's a talent that I would like to utilize more.
Okay.
But like I said, it's kind of like an awkward thing. It can be a little scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if like you're working in like a corporate like job and like going and like just like finding a band is a tough thing to do. And it takes a lot of work and practice.
Yeah, what do you do for work, by the way?
So I work for my like a family business.
Okay.
So like I work with my dad and other people, and it's a restaurant chain that I'm director of purchasing for. And then I also own a like sauna and ice bath.
Oh dang.
Studio, like sauna club.
Oh, that's sick.
Call it. Yeah,
it's really in Charlotte. You said?
Yeah, it's been a really fun project. We opened like 5 months ago. And we're really starting to like build a community now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the like concept was building a community that's literally in this hot wooden box. And it like great conversations, really like cool, like-minded people are all involved with it now. And yeah, we have some ice baths that you jump in. It's just like an old like Russian Finnish bathhouse basically.
No, that's sick. Yeah, those things are really on their upright. Like one of them just started here too. Yeah. What are the benefits of ice baths? Actually, I did one like last week. It was like 29 degrees.
Was it your first time?
No, I've probably done like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So benefits, boosted metabolism is a huge one. So getting in that cold water.
That is huge.
And letting your body warm up naturally, embracing the shiver.
Yeah.
Which is real. That shiver is real.
For sure.
Like, I mean, I'll be like literally just like
it's like you got to pump in the gym and you're on your very last rep and you're just like shaking.
I mean, it is like a real thing.
Yeah.
But so embracing that though, and like letting that like, because that's your metabolism saying like, hey, let's like get working here.
For sure.
And that's your body saying, hey, let's get working. Let's get warm again.
And you have no choice but to be present when you're in an ice bath.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no like screens. There's nothing.
Yeah. You're just in survival mode.
And you're watching that clock. And like we encourage everybody to try to get to like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so like you're watching that clock and it is so slow.
Yeah.
While you're in there. But yeah. Injury, inflammation.
Sure.
It's huge.
Sure.
Like there is just a ton of like inflammatory benefits to it. So like I'll usually do it post jiu-jitsu or running. I'll do it before like any type of lifting just because like you don't want to kill the gains, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
The gains are also inflammation. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You said you run a little bit?
Yeah.
What's the furthest you ever ran?
Oof. Like 10 miles.
Dang.
Yeah.
You ever thought about doing like a marathon or something like that?
I've thought about it. I would really want to do a triathlon, and then I
sick.
went and swam, and I was like, "This sucks."
It does suck
so much.
Yeah.
I like got like 2 laps and gave up on the idea of doing a triathlon. But,
yeah, bro. You just feel like you're drowning,
dude. And I feel like I'm not particularly buoyant, like super top heavy. I feel like my legs, like utilizing like the kicking.
Yeah, that's tough.
And my leg, like if I could do one with flippers on,
yeah,
I think that would probably be like the most ideal.
Yeah, they might give you a pass on that.
Yeah, but you don't want to take a pass. But I kind of do want to take a pass, you know?
I know. I mean, like you look at like someone like Michael Phelps, like he's super lanky. So like obviously like swimmers who are super lanky, they have an extreme advantage.
Yeah.
Like all the people in the Olympics, I mean, they have like the same kind of body style.
One of my buddies in Charlotte just got silver in the triathlon in the Paralympics. So he's missing one leg, and but it was pretty like recent. Like the accident was pretty recent.
Yeah,
and he was like a college athlete, went to being a triathlete.
Yeah,
and yeah, he's killing it.
Have you ever been to an Ironman, like and watched it?
No.
Dude, it's so surprising, like all the different body styles. I mean, you have like the people that you would expect, like so fit, and then you have people that are like literally obese doing it.
Really?
Short people, tall people, it's all over the place. It's actually crazy.
Finish?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, you would never expect it. My buddy, he actually did a double Ironman, which is a 5-mile swim, 224-mile bike ride, and 50 miles at the end. Took him 36 hours. So he basically went 36 hours straight.
Have you ever heard about that race in Tennessee?
Last Man Standing?
The Berkeley Marathon. So
maybe.
It's around like one of the prisons in the Smokies.
Okay.
And it actually started when the guy that assassinated Martin Luther King escaped from this prison. And then he like got like lost and turned around and turned himself in. So it's a really unforgiving like area of the country.
Yeah.
And it's just like this kind of quirky guy that started it. He's got like pages in a book that you have to collect on the route. I know one person that did it.
Oh, there's a documentary on this, right? Yeah, I've seen part of it at least.
The guy I know that did it came from Spain to do it, trained like a maniac for it, and made like 2 laps and like fell in a river, became like hypothermic, and was like, okay, I'm going home. Still, to just get back to the starting point, he had to like go like 30 miles. It was nuts.
Yeah, that race is nuts because like I think there's like so much mentally that you have to do. Like you have to find these things, and I don't know if you've ever like gotten to the point when you're running where it's just like everything's just like foggy. Like you're not trying to think at all. Like all you're trying to do is run. So I couldn't imagine like running that far and then like thinking that deep.
Yeah. No, I can't either.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. Traveling to South America.
Yeah.
So I guess you were riding a horse or something like that.
Yeah.
What was that adventure like?
So I went down, and so one time I saw a buddy from college who was from Ecuador.
Okay.
He had this like family event, this rodeo, that they basically just were having like what seemed to be like a party, but also like driving a huge herd of cattle.
Okay.
On horseback, and over this like volcanic plain, volcano, Cotopaxi volcano in the background.
That's crazy.
And I saw that, and I've never really invited myself to like anything. Like I've like been very like self-conscious about like, hey, can I come to this?
Yeah.
But I like was very just like, hey, can I come to
About
this?
that, yeah.
And I kind of bugged him on it until they finally let me come.
Yeah.
And then me and a buddy actually went down again this past year in September and shot some footage of it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to go back and do a more full like capture with like a full team.
Yeah.
So that's hopefully next January.
Yeah, you starting like a TV show or something?
So like that would be the goal of that is
Okay.
to do like a travel show essentially.
That's sick.
Where we are kind of trying to capture these communities that are based around one big event. And it would kind of be my perspective going into these communities.
That's cool.
And like so capturing the community,
Yeah.
but also like through my perspective, which I would say is a unique perspective
For
on it,
sure.
you know.
Yeah. Would it be like a TV show, like YouTube series, documentary?
I
What
think
do you
we
think?
would take whatever we could get. A TV
Okay.
show would be really great.
Who
but,
like what would be like the dream like TV
I
show?
think like if Netflix bought it, that would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be sick.
HBO, hell.
Yeah, you got connections like that?
My manager does actually. He's working.
Yeah,
on
we got Mac behind the scenes
it.
here.
Yeah, Mac, my manager. Is working on that, so that would be great. But that's a long term goal.
Yeah.
for sure.
What's like your dream right now? Like, what's the biggest thing you're working on?
I would say like I'm 32, getting older, you know, and like just being more conscious of time and how fleeting it is. Like taking opportunities, like going down to Ecuador and hopping on a horse and just saying like, screw it, let's do this, and like taking more opportunities like that. I would say, and then hopefully being able to capture that.
Yeah.
That's the biggest goal.
I love that,
now.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first time riding a horse like?
So, like, first time I grew up, like, kind of like going on like trail rides with my family, like on vacation. And then, but like, have you ever done that? Like, just like
ride a horse?
Yeah.
Probably like a pony at a fair, honestly.
Yeah. So, it's like going on a trail ride like that, it's not that much different than being like a pony on a fair.
Okay.
Like you're just kind of like in a line and at a very controlled speed. And then one time I was out in Monument Valley with my family out west, and it's like run by Navajo, and there's like not like the liability waivers, I guess, or anything that the other places have.
Sure.
And they just like put me on top of a horse and didn't have stirrups that were short enough for me. And so they just like stuck my feet like underneath the saddle.
Oh, damn.
And were like, you should be good. I was like, oh, I don't know, sir. And they were like, nope, you'll be fine. And so we kept going. And my sister took off on her horse to run it.
Yeah.
And mine just took off after her. And like I was like holding on to the saddle and my like legs were almost like behind me in the air. But it was kind of good, honestly, because like I was fine. You feel what it's like to run on a horse. No, I didn't fall off.
Dang.
Yeah. Could have, but I didn't.
Dude, if you caught that on video.
Yeah, that would be great. But then, so when I went down to Ecuador, I told him that I was much more experienced than I actually was, and just like knew that I'd be fine. You know,
Dang.
If you have faith, like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's a big word, faith. Like, what would you say your faith is?
I mean, I'm God fearing.
Yeah,
you know, like I think everybody has their own relationship.
Yeah.
I'm an active member in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Oh, interesting. You go to church around here?
No, in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the Greek Orthodox community, super strong, religion, the oldest religion. So my relationship has been complicated like anybody else's, and it's been a constant journey.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly trying to improve it. Can't say I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Nor is anyone.
No.
But it's a constant hope to improve. Yeah.
I love that.
And having faith that like, I mean, there is a God that loves you and that has your best interest at stake. And just having faith that his plan is the plan that you should be on.
His will for your life over your will for your life.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
bro.
it makes hopping on a horse a little bit easier. And
it does, man. It makes everything easier. Even when you're going through like the valleys of life, the lows of life, like know that he's with you to bring you through that. Yeah. That's just everything.
And I think a big part of it for me is like the community that he has provided me, you know, and like
your family, like the perfect family for you. Yeah.
You know, friends, the people around me. Like, I think it's really obvious when there's someone that I shouldn't be with, you know, and he'll take care of that too. Yeah. You know,
did you grow up in the faith, or was there a moment where you?
Yeah. And I think that kind of distanced me from it for a while. Like, I had a lot of skepticism.
Yeah.
And I still do think like my biggest like skepticism, I guess, like I always find myself kind of going back and be like, okay, this seems all a bit crazy, you know?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, the Bible's a crazy book, bro.
Yeah. But it, like having like a spiritual father, like in the Greek Orthodox community, having a priest to go to and saying,
sure,
hey, how, like, could you just talk through this with me, is so valuable, because like I don't have the answers. I'm not that smart of a guy.
Yeah.
None of my friends and family are that smart. Just having like someone to, I looked at Billy and Mac when I said not that smart, you know, but the having like a person that has dedicated their life to it is super valuable. And if like whoever's struggling with it, finding that person in the church, or whoever's struggling with anything, like they aren't going to prescribe you some drug. They're not going to give you some like magical answer. They're going to like tell you what the faith says, and they'll give you the guidebook and hope that you can follow it.
Yeah, man, I feel like you can either go to worldly things or you can go to Jesus, and like Jesus is the only true way to peace, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. I mean, it's like, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm going to drink and get rid of this depression temporarily and then feel worse the next day.
Yeah.
And then people just go through that cycle over and over again, and they're deceived.
And I think also like the pain is part of the process.
The growth, the tribulation. Yeah. I mean, it only grows your faith. It only grows your personality and your identity. And
I think if you're drinking or doing anything to escape that, like, I don't think drinking is like inherently bad.
Yeah.
At all. But I think if you're doing that to escape something, to escape that pain.
Yeah.
That is inherent to like worldly living.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's where you're.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously drinking, like drunkenness, you lose total awareness of yourself. You lose control of yourself. Like demonic spirits can take over. And then like, if you make drinking like the master of your life, like it becomes an addiction, then it's no good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, drinking just in general. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
No. Pretty good.
Yeah. It's not bad.
No, it's actually pretty fun sometimes. But yeah.
Very true. That's awesome, man. Did you have like a mentor growing up, or like maybe someone that like really inspired you? Maybe someone else that was like a dwarf and like they're doing crazy things. Maybe they're bodybuilding or something like that. Did you have that person?
No.
Never?
No, not that was a dwarf. My brother. My brother was like always the person that I like looked up to, did everything he did. Yeah. And he is not a dwarf, but he is the only like, I would say, mentor that I like really had growing up. My parents, but like my brother, like I emulated my brother and everything.
What was your brother like?
Good. He's a great guy. You know, he's like, he's a great guy. I'll just leave it at that.
I love that, bro. Are there things that you struggle with because of, you know, your limitation that people would never even think of?
Like, w
whether it's like physically, mentally, whatever.
Yeah, I would say like like I'm trying to think of like putting on a belt can be tough.
Okay.
Just like getting to the back. But yeah, there's nothing like specifically like getting something from like my house growing up. Like everything was average height.
Okay.
And I think it honestly really helped my upper body strength.
Sure.
Of like having to like climb up to get a cup for water and like jump off a countertop.
That's
so
sick, yeah.
I like there was nothing. There's nothing in my life that's like that I can't get over easily.
Yeah. Sometimes you probably have to like bring a chair over, get on top of the chair real quick, but it's just like normal second nature to you. Yeah. That's cool. What impact or legacy do you want to make before you die?
That's a great question. An impact or legacy I want to make before I die, I think is just like removing any stigmas and misconceptions about people with dwarfism and make it just like a little bit easier for someone with dwarfism to just like go out and be themselves, who they are authentically are, and not some version society kind of wants them to be based off the stigmatization of people with dwarfism and little people. So I would say that's one. Also, just like being a good person. That sounds generic and silly, but like,
it's simple.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And I hope that my legacy is like, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Despite everything, he was a really great guy, great
That's good.
friend.
Yeah.
I feel like it's common for people to like think about, like someone told me, think about your funeral and you're watching your funeral. How are people going to be at your funeral?
Exactly.
And I think like I've thought about that and I'm currently happy with how I people
Such
see
a good
me,
feeling.
you know, and that's like, I think really valuable and really nice. But yeah.
I love that. What do you have to say to people that are struggling with, your condition, dwarfism? Like what's like the one message?
Find a community. There's community, no matter if you're in like a small town, wherever you are. A kid or guy reached out to me on Instagram and said said, hey, like your videos, whatever. He's got dwarfism, got achondroplasia, and he reached out and just said like, hey, kind of randomly like asking for help almost. And he was like, I've gotten like recruited by this like midget wrestling federation and I think I might just do it so I can like travel and see the world. And I just like encourage him like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, dude. You can do whatever you want. But are you doing it? Do you think you're genuinely making yourself better by doing it? Like if you're looking for community and if you're looking to like travel, there's ways of doing that aren't like joining the circus, basically.
Basically, you're telling him like that's a cop out.
That's a cop out. And but I didn't want to like tell him that specifically. And he reached out a couple days later and said like, hey, you know what? I thought about it long and hard and I'm not going to do it. But I did go join a jiu-jitsu gym and it's awesome. I love it. They're super nice. And he like found that community. He had to go through a like dark place. But he found the community. So yeah, I would say find a community. No matter what. And if it's a community that you feel is negative, dump it. Go to a new one. But find people that like generally lift you up and like scrap the ones that are putting you down.
Say if you had a wish to change your condition to be normal height, would you do it?
So I think it like a wish sounds like this like magical thing. And a real way of thinking about it is to say like, would I bring another person with dwarfism into the world? You know? And I think like, so like if I were to reproduce with like an average size person, there's like a 50-50, literal 50-50 chance of the child having dwarfism or being average size. And putting faith in like God's will. There's actually, let me go back and saying there is like, we could go through like an in vitro like path and know the outcome basically. And so I think I would still go 50-50 just because like I'm pretty happy with my life. And I think there's a lot of like beautiful things that have come from me being a little person, having dwarfism. And so to say like I would change that, no, I don't think so. Like there are hard parts that I wish weren't a reality, but they are, you know? Yeah. And I've had to learn how to deal with that reality. And so, yeah, bringing someone else into the world that has dwarfism, like I hope they wouldn't be bitter or resent that. Yeah. But I think as a father, I would be able to say, you know, this is God's will. Yeah. This is where you're supposed to be. You wouldn't be you if you were something else. This is the most unique version of you.
I love that.
And yeah.
That's a great perspective. Do you want to have kids one day?
Yeah, sure.
So you want to have like the whole family, everything?
I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's daunting thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think it comes to you
for
as
sure.
it comes to you.
Yeah. So whenever God wants to bring it.
Yeah. And if that's God's will, I'm all for it.
Have you, when you were growing up, did you ever blame God for your condition?
No.
So there was never really any resentment like that?
There was like never like a moment I was like, why am I like this? No. It was like, I am like this. There's parts that it probably wasn't very much fun.
Sure.
But yeah.
You think that's normal? You think you're more of like a positive person just in general, and that's why you can kind of get over that?
Yeah, I would say I'm not like, I've never struggled with depression.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have bad days, but it's not been something that like is like held me down in any way. And so, yeah, I think that I'm generally a positive person.
Yeah.
I also try to lift like the people around me up, like going back to community. Like, I think I play an important role in my community, and I'm not the main character.
Sure.
I'm there for other people too, you know? And so trying to be the most positive and uplifting version of myself is important to me.
I love that. What would you say your purpose is?
Purpose? That's tough. I don't know, to be honest. Take it in stride.
Yeah.
And see where I end up.
Yeah.
And be open to anything. I don't think I have this like predetermined purpose in my head. There maybe is a predetermined purpose for me being here, but I don't know what that is. You know?
Do you have a lot of people reaching out to you, like say on Instagram and stuff like that for your videos?
Yeah, a lot of people with dwarfism all over the world. A lot of just like other people, all pretty positive. Love a good Instagram comment troll. Like, doesn't faze me at all, and I have plenty of them. Yeah. And honestly, like, I think they're pretty funny usually. Yeah. But I understand that other people might not feel that way, but like it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, I have had a lot of like really positive.
What do they normally reach out to you about? Like, are they asking a question? Be like, hey man, I just want to say.
So sometimes it's like specific to jiu-jitsu questions.
Okay. Interesting.
And like, hey, what are you doing here? I have dwarfism. I can't like I'm having trouble with takedowns. And so sometimes it's like specific things like that. It's usually just like, hey, I have dwarfism. I do jiu-jitsu. I find your videos both entertaining and informative. And
nice.
That's like the most common, I would say.
That's sick. How does that make you feel?
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really nice, you know? And that, like, going back to, like, my goal of just, like, I hope, like, a little kid sees a video of mine and says, oh, that looks... Right. And I try to, like, add personal elements of my life because I do think, like, being an athlete is awesome. Right. But, like, being a, like, friend and a son and a brother, and I think is the, like, more impressive and encouraging element of my life.
Yeah, I think you inspire a lot of people that don't have your condition too, because people look at you and be like, yo, he's doing jiu-jitsu, he's weightlifting, he's going on all these adventures, and he has this condition, he's not letting it hold him back at all.
Yeah. I was running the other day, and a woman came out of her house, and like she was getting something from her car as I was running by, and she just got shit. What's my excuse? And like, seriously, and I like had a good laugh from it, but but I hope she went for a run after that, or at least a walk. But yeah.
Do you know a guy Nick Sanitisasso? hard last name to pronounce, but
it's a tough one.
He does motivational speaking. He does it with Tony Robbins. He has no legs and one arm, and then he has like one finger.
Oh no,
never.
No.
I'll have to send you him, dude. His speeches are crazy. Have you ever wanted to get into like motivational speaking?
Never thought to do it.
Yeah.
I just feel like I haven't achieved what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
To be able to say like, hey, y'all should be doing this. You know, I feel like there's like a lot of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
In the motivational speaking world, and like I hope to continue to get better and to improve myself to someday feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, this is the key to doing what I did.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. You know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Say if you were dying on your deathbed and you had all your family and friends surrounding you and you had one more message to tell them, what would you tell them?
Thanks. You know? Y'all have made this a beautiful life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm eternally grateful as I pass on to the next realm of life.
Yeah.
Y'all have made this life absolutely beautiful for me.
I love that.
I hope I'm not there soon, but that was a pretty good answer. I feel like I would be crying after that one. Yeah.
That was good, man. What's your Instagram so people can follow you?
Oh, Zitsos, Zitsos, and TikTok is about to die, so you don't need that.
Yeah.
And then hopefully keep an eye out for YouTube content coming soon.
Anything else you want to shout out, like business or anything like that?
Nah, they're all local businesses.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fair.
I like if you're watching in Charlotte, go to Soniculture.
For sure.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. You're truly an inspiration. I appreciate you sitting down with me and getting vulnerable. For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro.
Awesome.
Cool. Signing off. Thanks, guys.
All right. We got some cool, dope